class is going to follow a format known as specifications learning for both the structure of the course and the grading. Since this is a learning model that I suspect is going to be new for most of you, I wanted to start by explaining what it is, how it works, and why we're going to be using it for this course. The specifications learning model designs and then runs a class around a series of specifications or requirements for how students engage with the course content. You can think of engagement in this context as being less about the time and effort that you put into the work for the class, though it certainly includes both of those things. But it's more about all of the different things that you as students in this class need to do in order to successfully complete it. Now, success in completing a course can be measured in two different ways. We tend to think about this mostly in terms of the first way, which is that success equals earning a passing grade. Grades are a measure of learning, though. So the goal in taking a course is not actually the grade that you get on your transcript at the end, but what that grade measures, which is how much you learned. So for the purposes of this class, we're going to measure success in terms of the second way, which is in terms of learning, with success equaling first that you know more about the topic and/or that you understand it better, more deeply, and with more nuance and complexity at the end of the semester than you did at the beginning. And second, that you not only understand, but can also remember all of the topics, ideas, and concepts that were covered in the class after the class is ended. So here's how specifications learning works and how it's going to help you in terms of your success in learning when it comes to this course. There are 3 different learning levels for the class, and I want to be very clear up front that the assignments, the amount of work, and the amount of effort required to do that work are the same regardless of which level you choose. So there isn't one learning level that is easier or that requires less work than any of the others. The difference between the learning levels, then, is not difficulty or effort, but rather the quality of the learning that you will achieve by the end of the course. The basic learning level will provide you with a basic understanding of the course content, and the course content is the topics and the concepts covered in the course. The intermediate learning level will provide you with a more in-depth understanding of the course content, and the advanced learning level will provide you with a deep, nuanced, and complex understanding of the course content. For whatever it's worth in terms of helping you decide which level you want to work towards achieving, I will say that in general, the deeper your understanding of the topic, the more interesting it is, and the more enjoyable the learning experience tends to be. Each of the learning levels also provides different opportunities in terms of the final course grade that you can earn upon completion of the course. Students who meet all of the requirements for the basic learning level will earn a course grade of C. Students who meet all of the requirements for the intermediate learning level will earn a course grade of B, and students who meet all of the requirements for the advanced learning level will earn an A for their course grade. So here's how this works. You pick the learning level you want to work towards. This is something you need to decide now. It's not a case of waiting until the end of the course and then seeing which learning level requirements you came closest to meeting, and that's the one you pick. Instead, it's about setting a goal in terms of what you want to get out of this class and then working to meet that goal. The requirements are laid out in the learning contract so that you know what they are up front. Whether or not you meet those requirements is not a matter of luck, and it doesn't just magically happen. It's entirely in your control. So if you want to think about this in terms of the image on the screen, meeting the requirements for your chosen learning level is your goal in taking this course, and the learning contract is the plan you follow to successfully meet that goal. You have to decide now at the start of the class which learning level you're working towards achieving, so you know which of the plans laid out in the learning contract you need to follow in order to do that. Once you decide which learning level you are going to work towards achieving, you do everything the contract tells you that you need to do in order to meet the requirements for that learning level and to earn the grade that you chose to work towards. And you use the contract throughout the semester to help keep you on track. if at the end of the course you have met all of the requirements for your chosen learning level, then you earn the associated course grade. So for example, if you chose the intermediate learning level and you meet all of the requirements, you earn a B for your final course grade. If you don't meet one or two of the requirements, you earn the next lowest letter grade. So again, if you chose the intermediate learning level and you fall short on either one or two of the requirements, you will earn a C for your final course grade. If you don't meet 3 or more requirements, you earn a D for your course grade. And that's the same no matter which learning level you are working towards. The reason is that if you are failing to meet 3 or more requirements, you are only doing the minimal amount of work and the minimal amount of participation necessary to pass the class. And so you earn the grade that is the equivalent of a low pass. If you don't turn in any work, then obviously you earn a failing grade in the course. However, there are 2 other circumstances specified in the learning contract under which I reserve the right to assign a course grade of F to students who do still participate and turn in work. The first of these circumstances is if you fail to turn in at least half of the work for the course. 50% of the work equals 50% out of the 100% scale that is used to determine letter grades, and that 50% is equal to a failing grade. The second circumstance is if you turn in either all or most of your work at the end of the course, when it's too late to have any benefit or effectiveness in terms of your learning. So why are we using this model for learning in this course? And what are the benefits to using it instead of the more traditional model for class structure and grading that most of your other classes follow? Well, there are 2 reasons that we're using specifications learning, and those reasons are also the primary benefits to doing it. First, this model of learning foregrounds the role of students in learning. In other words, it foregrounds your role in the learning process. We tend to think about learning as being something that is mostly, if not solely, the responsibility of the teacher leading the class. We also tend to think that the only role that students play in learning is to show up and pay attention, and that by doing that, knowledge is somehow automatically and somewhat magically transferred to and absorbed by the students. But that's not actually how learning works at all. Learning is something you do. It's not something that happens to you. In other words, as students, you are active participants in the learning process. You are not passive recipients of the learning process. So the first benefit to using this model of learning is that by foregrounding your role in the learning process, it also empowers you by emphasizing that you, and only you, are the one who determines what you get out of this class, both in terms of what and how much you learn and in terms of the grades that you earn. It also empowers you as students by putting you on more equal footing with your professor, in this case, me. It might be helpful, therefore, to think about learning in this class as a partnership between me as the professor and you as the students. Your role in that partnership is to explore the ideas and concepts examined in this course, and my role in that partnership is to provide you with guidance, clarification when you're confused, correction when you misunderstand something, assistance and support as you do that. The other reason we are using the specifications learning model in this class, and the other benefit to using it, is that it provides transparency in terms of both the learning process and the requirements for succeeding in this course. It also provides transparency in terms of how grades are earned by you and how they are assessed or determined by me. Finally, it is my hope that all of that will help to alleviate the stress and anxiety that is often caused by the pressure on students to do well in school, however you determine what well means, since it means different things to different people. Now, I realize that for most of you, the fact that you have to choose a learning level to work towards by the middle of the first week of class is going to be a source of anxiety, particularly since this is a model of learning that is likely new to you, so you don't know how you'll do with it. And this is also a class that is new to you, so you have no idea what it's going to be like or what to expect.
I get that. So I want to assure all of you that even though you have to choose a learning level right now, you are not locked into that decision forever. At the midpoint in the semester, I will be providing all of you with individualized midterm grade reports that will let you know how you are doing so far in meeting the requirements for the learning level that you choose. By then, you will also have a better idea of what the class is like. So at that point, you will have the opportunity to adjust your learning level either up or down if you want to. Now, you do only get one chance to adjust your learning level, and if you don't decide by the end of week 9 of the semester, which is the week after you will be receiving your midterm grade report, then you can't change it at all. But this at least gives you some flexibility in being able to ensure that by the second half of the semester, you are working towards a learning level that you can actually achieve.
When you take a look at the learning contract, each requirement in the contract corresponds to one component of this course. Each of those components adds something to the course, and each one contributes to your learning in a different way. There are none that are trivial, and they are all equally important. None of those components matter more or less than any others. I really want to emphasize that last point because the order that the requirements are listed in the contract is the order in which we will be doing each of those components in class. It would be a mistake when looking at the contract to assume that the things that are listed first are somehow more important or account for more than the things that are listed later on, because that's not actually true. The things that are listed first are just the things that we're going to be doing first. Each component also builds on the previous one, so they all work together in terms of learning. This is also true of the class as a whole. The things that we do in the second week of the course are going to build on the things that we'll be doing during the first week of the course. And the things that we do in the third week will build on the things that we did during the first and the second week, and so on and so forth. So when we get to the end of the first week, you can't just forget what we covered and move on, because we will be using what we cover each week throughout the rest of the course.
So now that you have a little bit more information about what specifications learning is and how it works, it's time for you to take a look at the learning contract for this course and read through all of the requirements for the 3 learning levels. For each course component mentioned in the contract, there is also a short video posted on Blackboard that provides a little more detail, as well as a brief explanation of how to do the assignment and also what you need to do in order to ensure that you earn a satisfactory mark. When you're done, email me with any questions that you have about the learning levels or the requirements. Please don't hesitate to do this. I'd be surprised if you don't have questions, and you're not bothering me if you ask them. Answering your questions is part of my job. Once you've chosen your learning level, use the link on Blackboard that is posted after the course requirements videos to let me know which learning level you are going to work towards and to agree to the conditions of the learning contract for this course.